All right. Welcome to the Peace in the Morning Show. This is Darius A. Stanton here live at www.elifemedia.net. That's www.elifemedia.net. We are all pumped up and ready to go. What's up, Debo?
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
That's right, because we all pumped up and ready to go. Pumped up and ready to go. Win, win, win. Well, we have a lot going on as usual in the world, and we are very thankful that you're joining us this morning for the Peace in the Morning Show. We are especially excited because today is a brand new day, and we have a new opportunity to take what we're doing to the next level. And so, as you know, here on the Peace in the Morning Show, we promote asset-based communications.
That's right.
Now, today, we've got some challenging things to address. Very serious situation. We may be able to have some folks call in, but the story broke very late last night. And we're going to be sharing with you, if not on video, we will definitely be sending it out through Facebook and all of our other social media channels. Already put it out there this morning. And that was an incident that took place in Georgia, outside of Atlanta, with a police officer and a DUI stop that was made last year. But before we get into that, Delegate Barnes, I want to share a good piece of news with you from that state that our families are from, North Carolina.
Okay.
So our positive news for the day, because we want to model what we want to see come out.
Yeah, we need something positive this morning.
So our positive news this morning is North Carolina A&T, which is North Carolina Agriculture and Technical State University,
Right.
has the largest student body ever.
Okay.
With growth at all levels. They've surged to now 11,877 students.
Wow.
So that's a very encouraging note to have placed out there this morning, because of the fact that we're also dealing with Cheyney University, which happens to be a historically black college that is in Pennsylvania, which is now in the position of potentially being closed. And so we definitely want to, let me not say closed, but losing their accreditation, which then leads to the road of losing funding, and people and their student body is already starting to decline. So if you got any folks out there from Cheyney, give us a call at 240-455-5934. Any recommendations, look it up, check out the story, understand what's going on, look at the history of the state, the lawsuits that have been involved with their financial situation, and see what we can do for Cheyney University, because we need to be able to educate our young people.
Yeah, I would agree.
In addition to that, back to North Carolina, we are just extremely happy for North Carolina A&T as they continue to promote and push what's so very needed, which is to teach people agriculture. The learning how to grow our own food, and we talk about food deserts all the time. We could address food deserts if we had our own mechanisms of being able to grow, produce, market, and sell to our communities. And so instead of waiting for other people to do things for us, we must be able to do that things for ourselves first.
Well, Maryland Eastern Shore has an excellent agriculture program that they teach their students. So those that live in the Maryland area, I would definitely ask that you check out University of Maryland Eastern Shore, because they have an excellent agriculture program that one that wants to get involved in that line of work or that field should check them out.
Awesome. In addition to that, we also have, right now there's we're still dealing with the hurricane, the rain, the storm down in the southwestern part. Now the rains are even coming into Georgia. Louisiana was hit. There's cities in Texas that are completely underwater.
Right.
And, there's a lot going on with regard to that. There's a sister who put out she does a weekly call and show on Wednesday nights. Millie Hall, she did an excellent job of communicating what's going on and how you can help, and a number of different sources. And in terms of how we can make a difference. And I know we asked folks yesterday on the show how they could contribute and be involved in supporting the people who are being displaced, lost their homes. In some cases, folks are losing their lives, being trapped by the water. And, when you think about it, when that takes place, you've got cemeteries and other historical landmarks that are going to be totally discombobulated. And you think, those places, you're talking Texas and Louisiana and those heavy slave states.
Right.
These were states where black people and before blacks, Native Americans lived and had gone through hell on earth, to say the least, in those states. Where that rain and that water is coming.
Right.
And then turning those grave sites and all of those things upside down. If you know anything about the landscape of Texas and Houston, you know that it's a flat land. And in some cases, they even there's no real zoning, I understand, there in the city. And so people build wherever they want. Our president just rolled back some of the Obama-era administration policies around controls with regard to the environment to prevent folks from building in certain areas and things of that nature. And President Trump just pulled that off the table about a week ago. And so, including funds to address issues like this. So, we have a real challenge when it comes to making sure that we don't build places where we know it's a problem.
Well, what's going on in Texas right now is going to they're going into another phase in which the fire department is now going to start going door to door. And that is a rescue phase, as well as it is a phase in which it is very scary, because you don't know what you're going to get when you walk into those homes. And I believe right now the death count is at 37, and they anticipate once they start going door to door, that death count is going to rise. This is a devastating flood that hit Texas. My heart goes out to everyone there, and those that are not in Texas but have family and loved ones there. But we here on the Peace in the Morning show want to do all that we possibly can and spread the news of what's going on. So I would ask everyone on Facebook and that's listening to make sure that you share this post and the conversation that we're having, because anyone in Texas that needs some assistance, or someone in the States here that know of someone in Texas that need help, let us know. We don't know everything, but we can sure enough pick up the phone and make a phone call to try to do everything that we can to help those in need right now.
Excellent point. Give us a call at 240-455-5934, 240-455-5934. We're going to take a quick musical break. When we come back, we just got some news about an explosion that just rocked the Texas chemical plant. This is one of the challenges when you have water at the levels that you do. A chemical plant just exploded inside of Texas. When we come back with the Peace in the Morning show. Here we go. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Peace in the Morning Show. That's right. We are live right here in the studio with Roland Bubba Grimes. I'm your host, Darius A. Stanton, with our good brother, Delegate Daryl Barnes, sliding on back into the mood as we get ready for the groove. That was LeRon Young in that music interlude that you just heard, LeRon Young. Need a little music break up because I want to bring something to our attention. Now, this story broke yesterday, and I want to give credit to WSB TV in Atlanta, down in Cobb County, Georgia. Cobb County, Georgia. And we're going to come back to the explosion as that story unfolds a little more. There was an explosion in Texas as a result of at a chemical plant as a result of the tropical storm Harvey. But the story we're going to bring your attention to right now broke at 4:10 a.m. this morning. And basically what the story shows is it's a video dash cam coverage with an officer who makes a traffic stop. And he pulls up on the passenger side, and he asks the lady for her ID, the young lady for an ID, and she says she dropped it. And she said, well, go ahead and pick it up. And she said, no, I'm afraid to pick it up because of all of the people who die reaching for their license and shot by police officers. And the police officer says, we only kill blacks.
Wow.
He literally says, we only kill blacks. Now, following that, he goes on to say, not only do they only kill blacks, but he says, then you watch the videos, right? In the videos, you only see us kill black people.
Now, before you go on with the story, where can they find this story?
So you can just Google officer who traffic stop, we only kill black people. Wow. Just Google that. Officer to woman during traffic stop, we only kill black people. Or you can go to the Peace in the Morning Show with Darius A. Stanton Facebook page, and you can also find it there because we got the whole clip for you. Also on the Darius Mr. Peace and Love Stanton, you can go there and find the entire clip. But the interesting thing, there's a number of different dynamics. Just to give you an update, the officer has been put on desk duty and taken off the street. So he's still being paid after making these comments, and the chief of police has decided to make an investigation. And this is Cobb County, Georgia. So if I got any folks down there, we got a nice strong base of people who watch the show from Georgia. And so give us a call at 240-455-5934. Two of our contributing psychologists, Dr. Dwayne Buckingham and Dr. Bruce Purnell, will be coming on the show soon. Unable to join us this morning, we reached out to them for comments and to have them call in. But at such short notice, as I sort of said, the story just broke 4:10 this morning. But the chief of police, of course, said this is not the values of our department. He was very disheartened by it.
Well, it has to be the values. Here you got on video a police officer telling a white woman.
A white woman, that's correct.
That you're safe because we only shoot and kill black people. But that's not the values of their police department.
And he was a lieutenant. An
officer in the police department. That's not the values, but we're going to put you on desk duty. Roland, come on, man. Now they got him on tape saying this, so they didn't make it up. The woman didn't lie. He's on video, and the words are coming out of his mouth. You're fine. You're safe. We only kill black people. And then we wonder why people are so up in arms about President Trump and the words that comes out of his mouth about law enforcement, pardoning Sheriff Joe, and all the other racist stuff that comes out of this mouth. And then we wonder why the neo-Nazis and the KKK and the white supremacist group are doing what they're doing, because they know they feel protected. So I think this is a huge problem. And I would love for folks down there in Georgia to give us a call and let us know what you think. Because, listen, At what point are we going to be sick and tired of being sick and tired of being treated so unfairly? This is 2017, and we're still being. Listen, racism is just as prevalent as it was back in the 40s and the 50s and early 60s. You know, it's just being sugarcoated now. Well, so it just bothers me.
Well, and you're right to be bothered. We're right to be sick and tired. And, you know, at this point, we definitely have to move into solution mode. You know, the chief of police there said that, you know, this was, according to Register, the incident happened last year before I became chief. This was also before an international association of chief of police report gave the Cobb Police Department a high community approval rating. But it also mentioned a perception of discriminatory and biased policing. Mm-hmm. So they got ranked by an International Police Association, the chief of police. They said that they got a high community approval rating. However, there's a perception of discrimination and biased policing. Now, that was from their own. Yeah. It was not an external Justice Department. This was from a group of their peers. But the chief said, we're going to make progress. We're going to move forward and making sure that we serve. And they've done a few other things as a result of that, creating a faith forum, precinct discussion groups, and training changes that they've done as a result of the finding from the international group. But back to the story itself. You know, there.
But I don't mean to cut you off.
Sure.
But listen, if you got one racist cop that is spewing this kind of hatred,
a lieutenant,
and an officer, then it is rooted within the police department, because we all know that the code is that we stick together. And if one is talking this type of language, then there are many others within the police department that feel and believe the same thing.
Well, and that's why we need right now folks to give us a call. And listen, if you're watching on Facebook or you're watching on eLife Media, please share this link. Text www.elifemedia.net, Peace in the Morning Show. Share this on your Facebook page right now. This is something that we must address, and we must not address it. This is why, you know, here on the Peace in the Morning Show, we do things just a tad bit differently, because we're going to talk about it and we're going to address the issue, but then we're going to talk about what solutions, what needs to take place to address this particular incident, but also to put a crack in the system that continues to accept, and even at the highest level of the land with regard to the executive office of our government, with a president would pardon a sheriff who was convicted for racial profiling.
Come on, man.
There's a direct correlation. Absolutely. He just overturned a judge that was not an Obama judge. It was a Clinton judge that was appointed, but it doesn't matter. He's a judge. It's the law. Yeah. And we always are talking about in America taking the law and how important it is to follow the law and how important it is to be compliant. And they say, well, if people were compliant, they wouldn't be killed.
Right. Right.
But here you have a situation where he's literally bragging about killing black people. We don't kill, we only kill black people. You've seen the video, right? So in other words, and then just think about this. Think about the psychological trauma that the United States of America, and oh, by the way, the rest of the world, because now the United Nations has brought a serious question and challenge to the United States government for its treatment of what took place in Charlottesville. The United Nations. Now, people discount it. They say United Nations this, that. These are other countries, period. And if you don't think other countries are watching us, as they always are,
that's right,
and watch what we do,
that's right,
then we need to be able to show that this is not all of America. This is a small part of America. This is an ugly part of America that does not want to die.
But unfortunately, I see that small part of America growing, you know. And yes, I would agree it's a small part, but I truly believe that it is starting to get the wind beneath their wings, because it is starting to spread. Small but too large. Absolutely.
There you go. You're right.
And those folks are spewing this type of hatred in an environment that it is starting to catch flame. And we have to start coming together so we can put that flame out. You know, I believe there is more love than it is hate. I believe there are more good people than there are bad. But the point I'm trying to make is that growing population of negativity is starting to grow. And it starts at the top. And anytime you have Jeff Sessions, who is our Attorney General, who came in with this new law and order, and now you have a president who is basically giving the red light to police officers to do basically anything they want to do, and I got your back. Knock them in the car, I would knock them upside the head, and all this other stuff this guy's spewing out. It is starting to spread. You know, so I believe this is an opportunity for our faith-based community to come together to start spreading that love to overcome the hate. And I appreciate folks like the Peace in the Morning show that is starting to spew this positivity and get everyone involved in saying that we can overcome the hatred by just spreading love.
So give us a call at 240-455-5934. That's 240-455-5934. Share this if you are on Facebook. If you watch this on elifemedia.net, make sure you encourage your friends. Email them, text them to tune in to www.elifemedia.net. Peace in the Morning show. We've got a lot going on today, so we're going to get right back into it. One of the other things that came out of this story is, as I said, the fact that the video clearly shows the officer and his words, word for word, and then they put them up on the screen. And, you know, he literally tells the lady, you don't have to be afraid, basically, because we only kill black people. And then he asks her to confirm it. And see, what you have to realize, the woman was afraid from seeing so many people being killed unarmed by the police.
Wow.
She wasn't a black woman. She wasn't a Latino woman. She was a white woman. And she says she's afraid for her life. Now, whether she was serious or whether she was joking, the fact that she could even use that, and that was in the first thing that came to mind when she spoke to the officer, lets you know that it's being portrayed.
So if a white woman is afraid, scared for her life, her safety, what in the world do you think a black man, a black woman feels in that same situation? We are terrified. Listen, you know, this is we have to do something about this. I just wish more people were outraged by the differences in how we are treated on a day-to-day basis. And this is just stuff that, you know, that's on the news or we find out about. But there are so many pockets of racism that we don't hear about that happen every single day. The untreatment of women, the unfair practices by corporations, how we are given demeaning jobs. I mean, there's so much stuff that goes on every single day that I think people need to start to rally. We need to do something. And I think, you know, we're giving everybody a platform. We're giving everyone a voice on this show. You know, I would think that, you know, everybody should be sharing this post right now. Everybody should be calling this into the studio and saying, this is what I think we should do. Or here's some of the problems that I see in my community. And here's some solutions that I think we should come about. Because I think if we can start coming together to start figuring out the solutions to these things, then I guarantee you, it might not happen across the board, but I guarantee you in certain pockets of the United States, we can start seeing some dramatic changes.
So listen, we want you to go to www.elifemedia.net. That's www.elifemedia.net. Share this post right now, because in 30 seconds, we're going to give you a minute. We'll give you a minute to share this post because we're going to go live and let you actually record it and let you see the actual video itself. So you will be able to see for yourself what's been said, the response, and how that impacts us. And you know, the key that I want people, these are the things I want people to look at when you see this video. I want you to look at the fact that the psychological trauma that this woman experienced for her fear. We had Natasha Pierre call in the other day, talk about when she was pulled over and how she was treated by the police. And, you know, for those of us who have family members or friends and have a great respect for the police officers that protect and serve and do all they can to support and help and risk their lives every day, you know, we want to protect them because it's the bad officers like this lieutenant. I'm not passing judgment. This is something that's just, it's right there. And if he thought it was a joke, because he did make a statement, he did come back. His lawyer did release a statement, say he's willing to come and talk about why he said it. He was trying to really bring the situation under control because she was becoming irate, and he wanted to kind of bring the situation down. You know, that was his response. That was his prepared statement by the lawyer, and I paraphrased there. But you know, we need you to share this right now, so you can actually see the video. In 30 seconds, we're going to go and show you the video from the car cam that actually has him talking about, and I quote, all the video, that we only kill black people. Have you seen the video? We only kill black people, right? That's what he says. And in addition to that, think about, as Delegate Barnes says, the trauma that our children experience every time they watch it on television. And if you Google it, you know, so then you got a few key issues. So this is what I want you to pay attention to. I want you to pay attention to the fact that the woman felt uncomfortable with preaching because she felt like she was going to be killed. I want you to pay attention to the biased coverage of police and civilian shootings. The fact that black people are the majority. Now, we are not the majority that are being shot by police, but we are the disproportionately killed by police. There are more whites that are killed by police than blacks in America. That's been the case throughout history. About 1,000 people a year get killed by the police. However, it's disproportionately black. But the coverage, how many times have you seen white people be shot unarmed by the police versus seeing black people shot unarmed by the police when it's more of them? Okay, so that's one thing. The other thing that I want you to think about is the psychological screening, training, and research to address what develops bias in police officers towards black people in the first place. What is it? What's happening that's creating this mindset, this racially biased, charged mentality in the training, in the screening, and then in society itself? And lastly, you know, the policies along federal, state, and local governments lines that address the consequences. And as the Obama administration's police task force that came as a result of the shooting in St. Louis, in Ferguson, and the unrest there, they came back and said that all police shootings should have independent prosecutors, not the local state's attorney who's friends with the chief of police, friends with the judges, friends with the police officers themselves, but an independent attorney who has nothing to do, no stake in that community whatsoever. And the Obama administration did not pursue it. Okay, did you hear what I said? The Obama administration did not push that as one of the things tied to federal government funds, as President Trump has tied immigration reform. If you don't follow his law with regard to immigration and you create sacred cities, then we're going to interject. We're not going to pass those federal funds to you. Right. Okay, so I want you to get ready. I trust that you shared this as we asked. And now we're going to show you the clip of the officer who actually made this statement.
Use your phone. It's in your lap right there.
I just don't want to put my hands down. I'm really sorry.
You're just really drunk.
No. I've just seen way too many videos of problems.
But you're not black. Remember, we only kill black people. Yeah, we only kill black people, right? All the videos you've seen, have you seen any white people get killed?
You know, you can replay it on our show. You can go to www.elifemedia.net. We'll be showing it again at some juncture today. But you can also go right to YouTube, Google it, and you can see the clip for yourself. But it's plain as day. You know, and as I said, when you look at it, she was very clear. She said, as many times I've seen police shoot people on video, she was afraid. Mm-hmm. And he said, emphatically, we only kill black people. We only kill black people, right? When you seen the video, it's been black people, right? When you seen the video, he referenced it. As a matter of fact, and I want you to hear it one more time. I want you to hear the audio so that it can sink in, because we can no longer, this is why Colin Kaepernick, this is why Colin Kaepernick did what he did, people. This is what he stood up for. This is what he took a knee for. This is why he's sitting out of the NFL right now. This is why people are upset with the NFL. This is why people are upset with the president for making these kinds of statements, telling the officers at a law enforcement conference to rough people up. This is why they're upset with the fact that the president pardoned somebody for doing exactly what this guy did, racially profile. Only black people, right? A lieutenant in 2017 in Cobb County, Georgia. Not a rookie, not a young person just coming out who's been twisted in the mind. This is a lieutenant, been on the force for over 20 years. This is what we're dealing with. So we don't have time to play around. We don't have time to let it go. We've got to address it, and we've got to deal with it. Sure, we need to deal with the stuff going on in our community. We're doing it. Follow us. Follow us. You see the shirt he's got on, Men Aiming High. We work with 175 boys in our communities. That's happening all over the country.
That's right.
So we're working in our communities. But we have to hold everybody accountable across the board. Play the audio one more time for us, please. And then we're going to get to the solutions.
Use your phone. It's in your lap right there.
I just don't want to put my hands down. I'm really sorry.
You're just really wrong.
No. I've just seen way too many videos of problems.
But you're not black. Remember, we only kill black people. Yeah, we only kill black people, right? All the videos you've seen, have you seen any white people get killed?
He said, all the videos you've seen, have you seen white people be killed? That was his. Those were his words. So now let me go a little deeper for you real quick. So number one, if they're only showing black people that are being killed, and you can go Google it because I did, and I looked for instances where white people were shot by the police that were unarmed. And what I found in my short time of researching and looking for it was one clip. And the clip, a guy got out of the truck, a white guy got out of the truck, walked away, and then he walked back towards the police officers. He didn't have anything in his hands when he walked away. When he came back, he had his hand behind his back. When the time came where they actually shot him, everything else was videotaped. They blacked out the screen. And then when the shooting was over, they brought it back. They didn't black out the screen when the dude got shot in the car with his wife, his girlfriend videotaping his baby in the back seat. They didn't black out the brother in Michael Brown. They didn't black out, these shootings when the guy got choked out in New York City and said, I can't breathe. So what is it about the site? What message is the media sending us where the only things that's being shown is African Americans who are being shot and killed when we're not even the majority of the people being shot and killed by the police?
Because they're telling us that our lives are not valued. And they're showing it on television, they're spitting it out of their mouths, that your life is not valued, and we want to show it. That's why they're blacking out the killing of another white man, because they want to protect that. They believe that's why white supremacists and KKK and neo-Nazi folks believe that they are supreme. They're not going to show white folks being devastated by anything. They're going to show black folks being killed, murdered, black on black crime every single time, because they're saying your life does not matter. Your life has no value at all. And because of that, and we know that you guys are too scared, that you're not going to speak up, that you're not going to do anything to us, and that's why they're doing what they're doing.
And if you watch the reaction of the white woman who was in the video, she clearly stated that she was scared because of the videos that she's seen. And so that means that that psychological trauma is there. So picture now, go to our children who watch television. Go to our children who are on the internet and see what kind of fear they have to have growing up and dealing with the police. Just think about what they have to deal with already.
Yeah.
And now on top of that, the people that are supposed to protect and serve, you don't know how you should respond. As a matter of fact, should you really just stop and wait for a number of officers to show up before you roll your window down? You know, what should you do to protect yourself from, should you already have your license in tow sitting on the dashboard? Should you already have your license on the outside of the window so that they can't say that you got to reach for your license? Let me see your license. Should you already have it out and posted and ready? But then you start to get into your own constitutional rights. There are laws and things in place to protect people from this type of behavior. But if on the other side we're not going to deal with it, what good is it? So our solutions, we got a caller coming in on the line. Welcome to the Peace of the Morning Show. Thank you for calling. Who's joining us this morning?
Bruce Purnell.
This is Dr. Bruce. Hey, peace and love, Brother Derek.
Hey, man, peace and love, Dr. Bruce. We want to, you sounded good. We just need to, we'll turn it up a little bit. Okay, come on with us, Dr. Bruce. Thanks so much for calling. This is Dr. Bruce Purnell, a nationally recognized psychologist who works in communities around violence, who's on the street dealing with gang members, bringing truces in our community. So he's on the front line dealing with the trauma, working with young people. If you've seen our show a few weeks ago, he brought two dynamic young men who grew up in the heart of D.C. with violence and gun shells, and now they're modeling, they're community leaders, they're speaking on panels, they're working, they're doing a great job helping to bring other young people out of that street drug trade lifestyle. Dr. Bruce Purnell, tell me, from a psychological perspective, man, help us understand, what are we looking at here?
Well, one, I mean, you're tapping into something really big, but you're tapping into the status quo. This is the status quo in America, and this is a piece that we've dealt with from. I mean, this is the plantations. This is the slave catchers. It's going further, man. Like it's almost like the idea of who we are to America, to the power structure. Now there's a lot of people. There are more people that actually want everyone to have freedom, to have peace, to have love. But there's a group that wants it the way that it was, man, and to actually change the status quo is that shift. And this structure is still there, man. Like we're prey here. We're a threat. We're prey. The black man in America is a threatening character. He's presented to be a threatening character, and has never had liberation, and has always been hunted. Man, the black man in America has been hunted since we've been here.
Yeah,
and this is what this is.
Dr. Bruce, I agree with you 200%. And then unfortunately, we still have that slavery mentality. That's why we're afraid to speak up. I mean, we're strong in numbers, and we still won't attack. Because that slavery mentality is that you better not attack, because with the how you're going to be treated after that.
That's right.
I think a lot of that is exactly right. I feel that we are not being valued, and that's why they folks do what they do, and they show what they show, because they know only a small handful of us are going to actually stand up and speak out, while the rest of us hide in our corners to be sheltered by what they think we may get those backlashes for speaking out.
That's right. That's That's so true. And, and if we look at the leadership, and that's what we need. We need progressive, real the leadership has to be to challenge the status quo. Because, like, if the status quo is injustice, if it's abuse, if it's exploitative, if it's manipulation, then you can't lead in assimilation of that. It has to be to demolish the status quo. Anything else isn't leadership.
Well, Dr. Bruce, as our time winds down, I want to first thank you, but I definitely want you to come on into the show, yourself and one of our other expert guests to talk about the psychological trauma and the impact that has, and then what do we do in our communities, both across the board, not just because there are white people who are sickened, that are crying, that are upset, that are angry, that are hurt, that feel betrayed. There are officers that feel like that. I got to be real. That's how it is.
But that was even the case during slavery. There were white folks during the slavery times that did not want to see the abuse of black folks. So none of this is new. But there's still, like I said earlier, still the majority of that minority that feels a certain way that's able to get away what they're getting away with.
That's right.
Right.
That's
so
right.
I mean, I just want to be able to call a spade a spade.
That's
And
right.
I'm not saying that everyone is spewing out this hatred. I'm not saying everyone has racism in their heart, but no one is standing up, black folks or white folks, to say, I'm not going to continue to put up with this. And unfortunately for black folks, we need more white folks that say enough is enough.
Yeah.
And I think once we can start seeing more white folks say enough is enough, then I think that's when change is actually going to happen.
Well, there are a group of folks right now. I'll give you an example. I happened to participate last year in a rally, which was a very mind-blowing experience for me growing up here in Maryland, in Annapolis, and the home of where Kunta Kinte and the story of Roots came from. But the other key there, though, I participated in a Black Lives Matter rally. It was formed by the young man who was on the show a few weeks ago, and Mr. Dewan Gay, and a few other folks. But this was the key. We started at what was the Annapolis High School, which was a segregated school in its inception that became desegregated in the early 70s. And then we marched downtown, down to Church Circle, down to Main Street, which is the center of the city, and down to the city dock. There were about maybe 150, if 200 people, but about 150 people that participated in the march and the rally. Out of the 150 people, 85 to 90% of the people who were in the rally were white. And they were going down the streets of Annapolis, down Main Street, with predominantly white folks standing on the sidewalks, looking at this large group of white people chant, Black Lives Matter. And not only do Black Lives Matter, but we must stop police brutality. So the imagery there, the symbolism, to your point, Delegate Barnes, where people were actually from another color, another race, but they were chanting for the fact that black lives do matter, that human beings are human beings, and they were specific and very poignant in the fact that they were saying, we must stop police brutality. Now, mind you, the chief of police was involved that time with Priesthood. He also marched in the rally. We need more of that. We need more of that. We need the NFL owners who have the power that they have to step forward and say, this is unacceptable. We need the owner of the Atlanta Falcons, who is supported, I'm sure, by the Cobb County Police Department in some form or fashion, to come out and make a statement saying, not only is it unacceptable, but we're willing to pay for the training for racial bias and profiling. See, so from our perspective, We need some solutions and not just be upset about it, as Delegate Barnes always said, and emotional
That's right.
and
That's
get
right.
all, a bunch of the knot. We need to make sure we have some tangible solutions that we can ask people to do, that we can demand people to do, and that we can do ourselves that's going to bring about change. So my
But
question to you
Derek,
is,
what you speak to is a healing model, because like in any kind of healing, like if it was individual abuse, if it was one person that was abused, you identify the abuse, and hopefully the abuser actually goes through atonement process. Like, okay, like this is what happened. Now we move into a place that we don't want to operate that way. Like, so how do we move to a place like, look, we're not going to do this. We know integration never happened in America. It was assimilation. They called it integration, but it was assimilation. But let's be clear and let's make it real. Let's bring our best to the table, everybody, and then drop the worst, man, and then we can move on like that. That's a healing model. That's what we all want. More people want that.
Yeah.
But this small group of greedy, man, exploitative, manipulative people are leading. Why
Right.
do they get to lead this, man? Look at the president, man. How can you vote for somebody like this? So, we have to do this differently,
Right.
and we have to be clear about what we're doing, and move into a mode of healing, and let's be honest and truthful, and really decide how we want to live out here.
So as we move to other aspects of solutions, because we're going to have to wrap the show, Dr. Bruce, we appreciate you giving us a call. We look forward to having you in the studio to talk about how we can address the psychological aspects of this, what
Yeah, most
impacts it's
definitely.
having on our children and our families, and what we can do from a leadership perspective to change that tide. Because we need solutions. We cannot
That's right.
continue to
That's
go
right.
down the same road and the same path. We put out something yesterday where we're focused and have a platform on retooling leadership, retooling
That's
how
right.
we lead, and that's what you just spoke to. So thank you, Dr. Bruce Purnell, with the Love More movement. Look it up, hashtag Love More, Dr. Bruce Purnell. Google
Dr.
him.
Bruce.
Brother's powerful, and he's in the community doing the work, not only here on the East Coast, but on the West Coast and throughout the United States, where he's pushing and promoting peace, love, and culture. Thank you, Dr. Bruce, for joining us today.
Dr. Bruce.
Thank y'all, man. I appreciate y'all.
All right.
Dr. Bruce Purnell, calling in. We want to thank him for doing that. You also hear from Dr. Buckingham, Dwayne Buckingham, who will be coming in to the studio directly so you can hear. We want to, the psychological component, I keep talking about it because that's what really makes us move is how we think.
Yep.
And we need healing. Was there ever any slave therapy? We came out of slavery. Was there any therapy for that?
Nope.
When we come out of the institutions that we're incarcerated in, is there any therapy for that? Being locked up and put in solitary confinement and physical and sexual abuse. Where's the therapy for the men who are raped in jail? Where's the therapy for the men who are raping men in jail? Where's that therapy? Who's addressing the families who now have to take in a man who's been locked up for 5 years, 3 years? Where's the therapy? How do we bring him back into the home to help him to assimilate and now readjust to living with his family and children?
Right.
Versus being in the environment that he's been in.
That's right.
So where's the therapy? Where's the mental health? So right now, while we have such a huge opium epidemic, here's a solution for us. In your community, because it's happening all over America, people are dying of heroin and opiate abuse. And they're changing the laws, and they're changing the policies, and they're changing the amount of funding that's going into drug treatment, that's going into how people are treated by the police and incarcerated and locked up for uses of these drugs. And so while that's taking place, make sure you put the needs of your community into those bills. Make sure that your communities and your organizations are represented because the money, just like here in the state of Maryland, where they've created a state of emergency, the governor's created because of the use and the deaths, the huge toll of deaths of opiate and heroin use in Maryland. Now there's different funding. Do you know that right now in this Anne Arundel County, Maryland, if you're addicted to heroin and you go to a safe space, which is at a fire department or a police department, and you can be loaded with drugs and money. But all you have to do is walk in there and say, I'm addicted to heroin or opiate, and I need help. And they will not prosecute you for the drugs and the money and all the paraphernalia you walk in the door with. You have a safe haven. Now, when the crack epidemic hit, did they ever create a place where crack addicts could come in and turn in their drugs, come in and turn in their works, come in and turn in their money from hustling or whatever it was they were doing to get? Did that ever take place?
We learn from those mistakes.
There we go. So now let's utilize the system to our advantage and make sure that these systems and policies that are coming down the pike, they're going back into session in Maryland in January. Find out when your state delegation is meeting. Go see your state delegates now. Play this video for them now. Go see your city council member now. Go play this video for them now. Don't wait until it's time for the rally. Don't wait for somebody else to bring you together. You take your individual action, take your individual motivation, and you go down with your phone, your laptop, you sit in that office and you play that video.
That's right.
And then you say, these are the things that we want to see done, and we want to see you do them. And if you don't do these things, we are not going to vote for you. As a matter of fact, we're going to find someone in office that will do something about this. We must hold people accountable across the board. So start with the county, Cobb County. Call Cobb County today. Call Cobb County. We want him fired. It's no investigate what? How long will the investigation take place? You know, we got to ask some key questions. And, you know, we bring solutions to the table here. We're all about solutions. We're asset-based. And an asset is to get rid of a deficit if it's bringing the rest of us down.
That's right.
To me, that's what it seems to be here. So we're going to wrap here on the Peace of the Morning show. We thank you so much for joining us. Tomorrow, as you know, is Funky Friday. The Clones of Funk will be live. The Clones of Funk, Funkadelic itself, will be live. They're performing at Bethesda Jazz and Blues Supper Club Friday night, and you know it's going to be a party if you are a fan of the Clones. So you can look out for them, Rap and Ron, right here. We're going to play their music in the studio tomorrow morning for Funky Friday.
Funky Friday.
And today it was Funky Thursday because we got a real funky situation going on. But we appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate all those who shared it. Thank you, Tony Pratt Strong, for that powerful message. She Richie, thank you for supporting us and passing it on. Antoinette Blunt down there in Atlanta, Georgia, thank you for your support. We definitely need to press this show, send it all out, look for it on YouTube. We're going to be able to replay it today.
Yeah.
Will we be able to replay the show today on eLife? Okay, well, we're going to try to do it. If we do, we'll give you some posts and some notifications to let you know if we're able to replay the show. So our peaceful moment, Delegate Barnes, you want to close with anything, brother?
No, I just want us to wake up. I want us to do our homework. I want us to do our research, and I want us to get involved in our community. As Darius said a few seconds ago, reach out to your county council, your school board members, your state representatives, and get involved. This is the only way that we can make a difference, by making sure that we exercise our right to vote, that we spend our dollars within our black communities. We have the power, and it is up to us to exercise that power.
Excellent. Well, on that note, we're going to make that the peaceful moment for the day. Vote with your feet, vote with your heart, and vote today. Don't wait on tomorrow, because as you can see, tomorrow may not be here for someone that's pulled over, and we can't afford that. We want to speak what we're going to see come into existence, which is peace in the morning, peace in the afternoon, and peace in the night. Until tomorrow on Funky Friday, this is Darius A. Stanton for Bubba Grimes, our studio engineer, Delegate Darrell Bonds, Queen Ayasuti Bay and Lady Karan, and all of our dearly beloved fans. We see you on Funky Friday. Peace in the morning.
Thank you so much, Ayasuti, and we love to party with them over the Metro Club. As a matter of fact, wherever we go, somehow we get the word that they be over here dancing on the floor. Now, We want y'all to start bringing some of them Ash Street Honeys with you. Yeah. We want you to start bringing them with you so we can party with them too. Yeah. Huh? Make it a real house party, you know what I'm saying? Might turn into a pajama party, you know what I'm saying, fellas? Yeah, might turn into a pajama party. We never know. All we need is some honey. All right, let's get busy with it now. All right. All get with it, get busy. Homework assignment number 1. Yeah, homework assignment number 1, baby. Ow! By special request, even though they're not here. Maybe they catch it on the tape when they play it back again. Ow! Going out to all these beautiful adults that's gonna be up in here from now on. Yeah, from now on. You know what? If you tell your friend, then I'll tell mine. We'll be up to Apex every Wednesday past 9. Yes, it will. Oh, yes, it will.
Yes, it is.
I like starting from scratch, and that be like that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it be like that. But if you start from scratch, you know how it is when you get to the top of things. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, partner? You know what I mean? I said that. Do you know what time it is?
Tell me, do you know?
Do you know what time it is?
Tell me, do you know?
Do you know what time it is?
Tell me, do you know?
Do you know what time it is?
Check the clock.
I actually know what time it is. That's why they always be there. Them bells need to be tuned up a little bit. Now, put your S's watch on, synchronize the time, and let's rock. Going out to my man, good see Bacon, and also Brother Frank. Good see you again tonight. Who's that? Big Tony. All right, good see fellas. Been a long time. By special request, I'm putting some back again.